As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello, and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode 78, and we will be discussing shadow people for not one, but 2 whole hours. We will take a break in the middle because we'll probably pee ourselves if we don't. We'll be thirsty, maybe hungry, maybe need to stretch our old legs, but thank you for joining me. We're going to make this fun as possible. We're going to go down rabbit holes. We're going to be real. We're going to do everything we possibly can to have as much takeaways and education and fun as possible during this 2-hour show about shadow people. Hopefully we get a lot of viewpoints, opinions, experiences from the chat. Please feel free to share this video. If you want to be shouted out, please at least comment hi, and we will see your name there and we will know who to shout out. And remember, if you want to make any small one-time donation for our content creation anytime during the show, a PayPal link would be in the video description. I think, depending on what platform you're watching, I think Facebook cuts it off. So if you would like to make one and you don't see the link for it, let me know. But it'll pop up a message on the screen, and that's kind of a neat thing. See, we got Jessica and Missy with us tonight. We'll ask them if they're ready to rock.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready. So Jessica wasn't here last week, so we got to do a quick recap with her. Did you have a happy Thanksgiving?
I did. I got to help my mom out with a few things and see some family members that I don't normally see all the time. So it was nice. The drive sucks.
Yeah.
But 6-hour drive, it's different when it's just you and, your daughter compared to like heading to an investigation.
You got to see and help your mother, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was the main reason I went is, I have to help my mom every once in a while. So it was obviously good to see her.
Yeah, I'm sure she was very happy to see you and very thankful for your help. And Missy's
How is she doing, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
How is she doing, by the way?
She's doing good. She still has heartache. In about 15 days, it's 1-year anniversary, so it's going to be tough. But she's doing good. She's keeping her spirits up.
That's awesome. Missy's probably tired of seeing me, so we won't ask her what's going on. We went and seen the first Bengals win last Sunday. That was the highlight of our weekend. So we won't get into that. We'll save that for another time. So I see that Scotty's trying to hype people up in chat. We're going to get this show on the road. Shadow People's...
He wants the PayPal link.
The PayPal link. Okay, Sandy, give me one moment. I'll go to streamlabs.com. if I think it's there. No, I'll go to YouTube. That's the best way to get it, because it's right on the banner of the YouTube page. It's right there. That was easy. Okay. Does she want it in Facebook?
Yeah. She's on the Justin Brown page.
Okay. I will put it. I'll just put it. I'll put it in this main chat and see if it goes all the way across the board. Let me know if it shows up to you. If everybody sees that, okay. And we'll get the show on the road. Here we go. Shadow people. It is a popular topic, right? Shadow people are reported to be saw all from anywhere and everywhere. Your home, haunted locations, the woods, tunnels, caves, just everywhere. They appear everywhere, right? And they're generally described, if they're seen during the day, they're just this black silhouette. But what's interesting is if they're seen during low light situations or at night, they're blacker than the night. Okay? So what this implies, or what you can infer from this description, are many things that science can infer. Okay? When you're talking about darker and dark, or just things that do not reflect light, period, there's physics associated with that, and I want to talk about those things. I have two contending hypotheses on what shadow people may be. Okay? By no means do I think I know what they are. They're just ideas that I have because of the way I think. We'll talk about those things. And I think the best way to start off is to talk about the different types and what they could be. And we'll talk about maybe the origin, where they come from, and that may have something to say about their appearance. And I think that's fun to do because there's crossovers between what theoretical physics and science are talking about now and have been talking about for a long time, that intersect with the metaphysical, that intersect with the spiritual realms. And that is cool, right? We want to have a talking point that shares similar planes and it feels more comfortable, and it feels like you can be open-minded and consume those ideas and maybe even subscribe to some of them. So the first thing you want to think about is the more of the metaphysical end. There's a lot of people that claim that shadow people present themselves in ways in which cloak or obfuscate their appearance for a reason. It's an intention. It's the way they choose to manifest to you. And that is one of the more popular beliefs out there. And I think it's interesting to talk about because a lot of manifestations and the ideas behind how entities manifest have a lot to do with how they want to appear. And in my research and own experience in etheric type phenomena, that is true. In dream states, you can change, alter, and disform and skew a lot of ways that not only you present as how you reflect yourself onto others, but how others want to present themselves to you. It can be something completely different or something augmented. So if something wants to disguise themselves as something, but not something else in particular, I can see why a shadow type entity or look would be something they would choose. Now, a lot of people, when they see something dark and shadowy, they assume and jump to a conclusion that it may be harmful, it may be dark, it may be demonic, it may be something that might harm you. So let's talk about that for a moment. The first thing I tell people, whether when they want to draw conclusions about intent of a particular entity, if that exists, if that's what's occurring, is you want to know if it's actually harming you. If it's doing something obvious to hurt you emotionally, psychologically, or physically. Okay, it's got you know there's no doubt in your mind that it's trying to either mess with you up here, mess with you here, or mess with you on your physical body. Okay, if there's nothing like that going on, just reserve your reasons for why it's appearing like that, or if it's, if that's its actual appearance to you, then you might want to reserve if it's good or bad. Okay, you want to see how it acts, how it behaves. This next thing I would want to go into is the conditions in which you're seeing it. If it's really good lighting conditions and you're seeing something dark and shadowy, it's got to have some type of physical properties. Especially now, when we're looking at entities, you definitely want to start talking about physics. Okay, if you're able to snap a picture of it, if you're able to image it on digital or analog or film or any type of media that's physical, and use optics, whether it's your eyes or artificial optics like cameras, then other people can view it the same way you can. That is something physically there. That's one thing to check, the check mark by. The other things that can appear and manifest to you are not physical manifestations, but psychic manifestations. They appear only to your mind's eye, to your third eye, to whatever you want to call it. They can appear full body apparitions. Family members can come to you and appear to you in dreams or in waking states or what have you. And you're the only one that can see this. It's stimulating the visual cortex of your brain, but it's not light bouncing off matter and entering your eye optically. There's two main versions that happen, in my opinion and belief. So if it's physical and you're optically seeing it, then you can infer that whatever substance that you're seeing the light being absorbed by has physical properties, and you can infer some, physical properties of it. If you're using your naked eye and you're seeing something that's completely black, you know that it absorbs the light in the visible spectrum. So if it's like a gas form, if it's some type of energy, you want to look at those two things, because usually when they appear, they're not three-dimensional. They're more two-dimensional. Now, when you look at a lot of things that don't have a lot of light hitting it, where you can see some type of depth in the highlights, you can see that I have three-dimensional features because of how the light acts on my face and body. If you can't see that, it looks more two-dimensional. So you're seeing it almost as a 2D image. So you're wondering if it's even made out of a gas or not. Maybe you're seeing something completely different, and that might be something else that we'll talk about in a moment. So if it's absorbing all the visible light, you can kind of go through a list of things that is known to absorb physical or visible light, the physical attributes of things. Since we look at a lot of things, if you're a ghost hunter or a paranormal enthusiast, you might have an infrared camera, and this is an area that I have some expertise in. What's interesting about the infrared light spectrum and seeing shadow people, and we'll also talk about shadow detectors. Okay, we'll do some education on that. But the infrared cameras, infrared light reflects or absorbs whatever absorbs infrared light is different than in the visible spectrum. So water and water vapor absorb infrared light. So you can try this at home. You set up your infrared camera and you hold up a glass of water. It'll appear black. It will reflect no light. If you boil some water, watch the vapor come up, it will be black. Carbon dioxide gas is the same way. It'll appear black. There's different types of vapors and material that absorb infrared light, and those are the most commonly found in the environment naturally when you're shooting in infrared. So passive infrared detectors are used, and motion detectors, a lot of people use those to detect shadow people. In the millimeters, they use a photon counter, which is it measures a baseline of photons, and anytime the photon counts raise or drop, it alerts. So if something gets brighter or something gets darker, it measures shadows that way, and that's a little bit more accurate. But the cheaper versions are the passive infrared detectors, like your automatic porch light. You have them on your garage, someone pulls in, it goes off. Well, that measures infrared radiation. Depending on the sensitivity of the infrared radiation it detects, it's designed to detect infrared radiation, heat radiation coming from the body or from your automobile or anything that will be emitting infrared radiation. So if you're seeing or detecting shadow entities with passive infrared machines like shadow detectors, then that you have to be looking at a heat source. That's one thing to consider. So moving on into the why it appears 2D and what that might mean dimensionally is if we're talking about entities that exist in a higher dimension, meaning that it has more than 3 spatial dimensions, then when it enters our 3D world, you're going to see a cross-section or a downgraded dimensional manifestation of it. And we talk about it sometimes on the show. And I wish I had a visual graphic. When I write a book or if I do a video series, just, breaking down all these things, I'll do it in greater detail. But if you take a 2D plane, okay, it's 2D, right? And you have a higher dimensional object. We'll just say this toothbrush. I don't know why I have my son's toothbrush on my desk. I have kids, you get it. So this is 2D, this is 3D. So we're going to act like we're going to downgrade our 3D world into a 2D dimension. And we're going to downgrade a 4-dimensional being into a 3-dimensional being. So when it comes into our realm, we're seeing it as a dot, a cross section. So we're only seeing that 2D version of what it is. It may appear like an oval when it's not shaped like an oval. We're only seeing a certain portion cross section of it at a time. So a lot of people, what they report seeing is like a mass, shadow mass, or it might look like a shadow mist. It may be some physical manifestation that's translucent or gaseous in form. And that's something I actually have recorded before. And those are interesting because that means that we can infer other physical properties to them. And if you have done any type of old, watching of some of my videos, we talk about the application of cloud chambers for paranormal research. And this is the reason why. Now, a lot of paranormal investigators, enthusiasts, and researchers believe that paranormal entities create or induce magnetic fields. If that is true, the stronger the magnetic field, the more it will attract ambient particles in the atmosphere. The sun emits and decays particles all the time that enter our atmosphere. Most of it's trapped by our ozone and deflected by our magnetic field around our Earth, but some get through, very minute traces. Those that get through and that exist and radiate from the Earth itself can get caught and accumulate in these magnetic fields. And the more ions get accumulated into a magnetic field, the ions can ionize the gas in the atmosphere, causing mist and vapor to start clumping together where that magnetic field is. And voila, you get an apparition that you can see in certain lighting conditions. You may not see it in a bright, shiny day, but if it's like dimly lit and you shine a bright light on it, you might see it. Kind of like your breath illuminated on flash photography, for example. So if you have a cloud chamber, you set that up, you condense alcohol vapor, and you see what type of ionization you can have in the alcohol cloud vapor much more easily when you shine light through it. And if those hypotheses are correct, you may see an apparition much easier that way when you wouldn't see anything at all. So those are interesting things to think about. What is a shadow person made up of? What can you infer just by looking at it? If you're seeing it with the naked eye, if you're seeing it on a camera sensor that's designed to only detect visible light and small traces of infrared light through an infrared sensor, or using infrared cameras and sensors only looking into the infrared spectrum or full spectrum. You have to take into account all of these things. It gets very complex. But if you're seeing it visually with your eye, you know that it's absorbing light in the visible light spectrum, and you have to consider physical properties at that point. If you think in that way, if you're with me on that. So if you're in the crowd of people, well, it's just wanting to manifest to you that way. Sure, okay, it's choosing to manifest that way, but if it enters our realm of existence, it has to play by the rules. And if you don't believe that, then you're watching the wrong show. Okay? And let me know if you don't believe that, because my goal is to remove the para from the paranormal. I do not think that the paranormal is outside the scope of scientific understanding. I just think that it's yet to be, the science is yet to be applied to it correctly. And there's a lot of things out there that we don't understand about science and the phenomena. Okay. So with all that being said, we're going to go to the chat. We're going to do some shout outs. Jessica looks like she wants to die.
I'm just having issues. Not really issues, but
okay. Well,
I'm okay.
Okay, you're okay. So let's start the shout outs and we'll get the show on the road. Hopefully we didn't scare away anybody yet, and we'll have fun.
We've started a hell of a conversation. I can tell you that.
I'm happy about that.
On the Justin Brown page, I have Gilson, Bill Davis, Sandy Griffith, Josh Bender, Mandy, Daryl, Jamie, happy birthday, Jamie. Bill Brock, Gina, Matt Pyle, and Heather. And then on RU Media, I have Ernie, Deb, Eddie, and Leanne. And my first question, you want me to wait on the question?
Yeah, wait on we'll get back to you after Justice shoutouts.
Yes. Okay.
All right, on YouTube, Sam Thomas, Scotty Fox, Ron A, John G, Kesha, Hannah, Melissa, Gilson, Joe Vitale, Jay Metter. I believe I pronounced it correctly. And if I skipped you, I apologize.
Well, thanks for joining us. So
okay, can I just say it?
Okay.
Okay, there's a girl from probably 8 to 10 years old, blonde hair, longer hair. It's a young female. I don't know who it's for. I'm thinking of somebody in the YouTube side. If it is, please send me a message. Don't mention anything on here. Just send me a message.
You're like the female John Edwards.
I'm telling you. I mean, as soon as like they were talking, like I was getting, my heart was racing. I'm like, I'm burning up now. Sorry. Go ahead. Carry on.
Awesome. All right. We'll start with the questions on Facebook.
Okay. Leanne said, what about eyes picking up movement without form and environment around immediate area?
Eyes picking up movement without form. That's kind of vague. Are you seeing something, but it doesn't look humanoid or doesn't have a form you recognize? If that's what you're asking, then you definitely, if it's out of the corner of your eye, you definitely need to consider if it's something psychologically playing tricks on you. What your brain is designed to do, if it sees something, okay, the primitive brain is designed, especially at night, especially if you're a woman, it's dark, you're on high alert, something can pop out and stab you at any moment, women have a legit reason to be afraid because they can be easily overpowered by most men. So if they see something out of the corner of their eye, they go into survival mode. They're like, oh crap, what was that? It could have been protein floating around their eye. It could be something that's stuck in their corner of the eye. If you wear glasses, I know sometimes a light will reflect off your glasses in a weird way and your corner of your eye will catch it. There may be shadow play going on. Your brain is designed to think that that's a threat or think that that's something that you need to draw your attention to, and it will fill in blanks for you. You need to be aware of that. If you can rule that out, then you want to investigate that further. And what I mean by is see if you can capture it optically. with camera equipment or see it straight on and for a longer time. Is that it?
That's the can you see animals in the form of shadow people?
Why not? Sure, why
Okay.
not?
That was a discussion that Scotty Fox and Sandy were having between.
Yeah, I do not make any limitations if you're talking about spirit and the disembodied consciousness. Anything conscious can have a spirit. If we can have one, animals can have one. I'm not that guy that says animals don't have a soul. Okay? That's ridiculous. My opinion. So, yes, why not?
I have a question on YouTube if Missy's done.
I'm done.
Okay. Scotty, he asked this in the beginning. Why doesn't the structured light cameras seem to map out shadow people?
That's easy. Structured light cameras, the first gen Xbox One's setup, shoots out little infrared dots, hundreds of them. It's designed to hit physical matter. It has to be pretty physical. If you take gas like a smoke, a fogging machine, and you set it off in front of a SLS camera, guess what? It's not going to map it out right. If it detects any of that gas, it's got to be thick. And if it does, it's definitely going to have to fill in a lot of blanks as being a stick figure. Okay. And if it's a gaseous object that dense and that thick, you're going to see it with your eyes. So why would you need an SLS camera? You're trying to find invisible things with it. Invisible things usually don't have mass or enough mass that can interact with light in such a way that's designed to work with an SLS camera. So right out of the gate, it's flawed. So that's why it can't detect it. It's designed to hit things, not unthings. Non-things. And in my belief, spirits and spiritual entities are things that have exotic mass properties or no mass properties at all. The energy is either close to massless or massless, but I don't know for sure. But what I can be very sure about is an infrared laser will not bounce off it correctly to where it can be mapped by an SLS. That's my opinion, though.
Bill Brock said, here at the Conjuring House, there has been many, many sightings of shadow figures.
Yes, I am well aware. And I do believe in shadow figures. I believe they're a thing, they exist, and they're very fascinating. And I cannot wait to the day I get to go check out the Conjuring House to see if I can experience anything reported there.
He also said NASA has documented portals where gravitational fields collide. This, I believe, is what we need to look into.
Portals. NASA portals. NASA has discovered portals where gravity fields collide. See if Google. Okay, the only thing it picks up is the hidden portals in the Earth's magnetosphere. What happens with that? We talked about this on the show. The Earth has a liquid iron core that spins. And anytime you have liquid iron that's magnetized, like our core is, it'll create a magnetic field if it's moving. So there's a magnetic field generator type mechanism going on. So that's what blocks most of the radiation from the sun and anything harmful from us initially. What they have found are there's portals, holes in that magnetic field where things can pass through. That's radiation. It's not actually picking up portals and rifts in space-time. That's not what they're detecting. They're detecting holes in the magnetosphere itself. So that could be easily misunderstood. And that's probably what he's talking about.
Also, Chad Barr jumped on, Genevieve Rogue, and Heather Knapp.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I think that the understanding of science and portals and what high gravity fields can do is fun when it comes to talking about the paranormal, but very rarely does it apply in a normal paranormal setting, because we're talking about events that normal people can't endure or survive in. I know there was a huge theory about wormholes that David Rowntree was trying to introduce into the paranormal field that was not feasible at all. And I was one of them that quickly shot it down. And every time I asked him about it, he would ignore me. So must be convenient for him. But you definitely want to soak in and sponge in all the science education you possibly can, because it doesn't explain everything, but it helps you understand the things that we already know about, so you can at least apply them correctly doing your investigation and research. Anything else?
The only other thing I have is Bill said, just let me know when you find a 21-year-old blonde.
Oh, I wouldn't hand her over to Bill. That would be scary.
John Partial and Denise Smith just joined on RU.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, our RU Media Network viewership has disappeared, but we're looking good on Justin Brown Paranormal Research.
We have 5 viewers on RU.
Yeah, but versus 21, we got to balance that out somehow, right? I feel unbalanced.
I have a question.
I hopefully have an answer.
Melissa said, my question is, I've had shadow people in my life since I was little. I'm 53 years old and thought it was normal that everyone had them. I know now and want to know, how do I get them to leave me alone?
Okay, well, the first thing I would do is ask them. And I would assume that you had already tried that. If you don't have any effective communication with them, then you would want to definitely consider some metaphysical means of getting rid of them. Depending on the entity and their origin, you want to seek out people that have expertise in warding off such entities. There's going to be a lot of people who claim that they do, but the amount of people that can is rare, and they don't usually advertise. The ones that do advertise that they can do it and have shown that they can do it can have issues. I'm talking about government conspiracy type stuff, and I'm talking about dark stuff. So my advice to you is I don't know where you're from. You want to try to connect with your paranormal community, connect with reputable paranormalists in your community, find those connections with metaphysicists, people that deal in the occult, that deal with these such things, to help you. If you can't find anybody in your area, there are people that can help you remotely. So if you have exhausted all of those avenues, you can come back to us and say, hey, I still can't find anybody, and we can see what we can do for you. But
yeah, she said that she's told them to leave and then they come back.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So are they doing anything to harm you, or are they just keeping a distance? Are they just, lurking and that's annoying you?
I know that she mentioned above, I'm going to try to find it. It was a male, and I believe, drains her, can't eat, sleep, and makes her cry.
So it drains her energy, affects her appetite and her sleep, and her emotion.
And her emotion.
Emotion. Yeah, that sounds not good at all. You definitely want to. It's always good to have someone who is psychic and has, real abilities to help you. Someone you can reach out to help you, just not in this type of situation, just in your everyday life. Sometimes you can just attract new things. It may not be the same thing constantly there. It may be just coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. So if that's the case, then you may want to try to do some maintenance and upkeep on a regular basis with someone like a life coach, a spiritual medium, or a person who helps people in that way to kind of clean out and try to adjust your vibrations and energies. Maybe that will help. I see you, Mothman Historian. So definitely start reaching out to people to help. If you
Jess
can't.
grew a beard.
Oh, she did. Is Jess okay? She had to go to the bathroom?
You're muted, Josh.
Yeah, she said she had to step out.
Okay.
Yeah, there must be something coming up. She mentioned she was picking up on something that may be bothering her.
Yeah. I didn't bring my phone, so I'll have to let me go get it real quick. You just keep talking.
Okay. So, Liz says I use to see undefined shadow figures frequently, but haven't for a while. Saw a tall shadow man twice. Most of the shadows I've seen were straight on. Yep. So what was your experiences with them? Did you have any interaction with them psychically, telepathically? Did they talk to you? What did they do? What do you just see them? I'm curious to know all those things.
Shane Hanna asked, are all shadow people considered negative?
Nope. Not at all. Just because they look dark, shadowy, does not mean that they're all bad.
Liz Coy said, I used to see undefined shadow figures frequently, but haven't seen for a while.
I just read that.
Okay. My youngest would say that a shadow person would tickle her when she would wake up at night. It went on for about a month or so.
Not creepy at all.
No.
Mothman Historian says shadow figures are an interesting archetype, pretty common. Actually, I see crossover between them, Men in Black, etc. Many dark figures, typically male, are seen. Yeah, if you were, obviously you weren't here during my introduction. We talked about some interdimensional possibilities when it comes to higher dimensional beings entering our lower dimensional plane and how they can appear that way. So we definitely talked about that type of stuff. And there's entities out there that are known through folklore as being unhuman, like the Hat Man shadow figure and so on. And those entities are definitely interesting. And I know Mike Ricksecker's coming out with a book here soon. He just got finished with the manuscript of it. Hopefully we'll see that book come out soon. And that'll be a book I'll probably recommend you guys get and read for a reference guide for shadow people. He wanted me to include some of my hypotheses about shadow people in his book, but I just have not had time to send it to him. So hopefully sometime in the future you'll see me release something physically about that, either through video, tutorial content, or books.
Liz said they just seem to be doing their own thing.
Oh, yeah, Mothman. I'll get that, Josh. Go to YouTube here. It's not letting me up separately. Sucks. Let me see if I can scroll up. The opposite end of this I would offer is the ghostly white pale figures and the women in white archetype, which is also commonly seen. Oh, that's interesting to bring up, because the inversion of the shadow people are the people in white, and those also have attributes that you can infer the physical properties of, right? So that's interesting to bring up too, because there may be some correlation or some relationships that shadow people and figures that are seen in white have. And I I never thought to introduce that into this talk, but I am definitely open to it and hearing more of your elaboration on that, Mothman, if you have any more, which I'm sure you do. Don't talk about your neighbors like that. Did I say something about neighbors or?
No, Heather said she said, be right back. Gotta tell the dogs to shut up. And Belle said, don't talk to your neighbors like that.
Do you see who's on YouTube? Stephen King. I wonder if it's the real Stephen King. If it's the real Stephen King, bro. Thank you. If it's not the real Stephen King, well played, sir. Limelit girls in the house. Long time no see. All you got to do is throw up a topic like shadow people, and it brings all the paranormalists to the yard. Hi, Josh.
Everywhere.
We miss you, Josh. Josh is like, I got deadlights to make. Screw you guys.
I'm going back to the shop.
Yeah, Jess is back, so I'm gonna give her back. She's got some notes here with about that little girl. So,
Heather has chimed in. Oh my God, the long comments commencing now.
Right. She said, I was at a cemetery once and seeing what looked like a shadow run behind a tombstone in front of me. While I was recording, I stopped right away and looked back at my camera to see if it was a cat or what it could have been. And at that exact moment that I seen it, there was a glitch in my camera for that brief second.
Interesting. You can keep reading if you would like.
Genevieve said, into my body during a fire thing, thought a person walked past, got energized. I've been laying on back, eyes closed, sat up, stretched my arms out, and the fire pit exploded behind me, costing me with fire. Everyone looking at me, LOL, and then I felt whole again. I left for a week.
Okay, that's also interesting. Thanks for following, Michael. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we had some interesting things come through there. I definitely want to hear your anecdotal reports about your experience with shadow people, because there's definitely some things to be learned about those and some information, important data to remember for my research into such things. So if anybody else would like to share something, if it's a long story, then maybe you can just message the page or email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net and let me know. If I don't get back to you right away, it's because I'm insanely busy. But I definitely want to hear about it. Welcome back, Jess.
I'm back.
Oh, did you want to share something? Do you have notes? It's a 2-hour show. Might as well, right? Or no, you don't have to.
I'm just picking up this little girl. I don't know who she belongs to. And if it belongs to if she belongs to somebody in the chat, I don't know if they want me to say it.
Okay,
it's very emotional. It's very emotional.
Okay, is there something you can say to let someone in the chat know, like, oh, that's me, and to let them say it's probably me? If we can figure that out, then I'll be happy.
I'm seeing her wearing a baby blue dress. She has longer blonde hair. She does not have bangs, and her hair's thin. I can't make out the eyes. Her eyes are different. There's a lot of paint in her eyes.
Something bad happened? She died young? Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's part of a show. If you're going to have psychics on the show, that's going to happen. You can't help that from happening, right? It's just like it just happens.
I try, But then when my heart starts racing, I know something, and I try to stop it because I don't want it to interfere with the show, obviously. And but sometimes I feel that I can block pretty well, but then there's times that I can't block.
Well, if it happens and you want to make it part of the show, you will. If not, then you can keep it private between you and whoever it may be. I'll go ahead and read this. Let's see. Jenny says, I had a shadow person come up behind me and walk into me. I had a lot of anger that day and was just lashing out at people around me for no good reason. It eventually stopped, but it has me wondering how much shadow people can directly affect us. Well, if you're impressionable, if you're sensitive to other people affecting your mood, it's almost like that, okay? I believe that spiritual entities, when they enter you, that's when they can share their vibratory nature with you, okay? Especially if you have an affinity or an ability, a paranormal ability, whether it be psychic or something similar, right? So it's almost like if you walk into a classroom, if you're at school, and if your teacher's an asshole, you're immediately going to be put in a bad mood. Okay. You're stuck in that classroom with them. It's hard to ignore that person. So you are going to be influenced by that person one way or another. And it's almost like that when an entity enters your body, you can be influenced by that. Some people are almost impervious to these type of effects. I am one of them. If something tries to mess with me, it is very difficult for them to do so. But if they're very powerful and very nasty, it can put me in a bad mood. And my group members and members from EPS have seen that happen once. Mm-hmm. So I'm fine, but it definitely affects your mood. And I definitely believe that is possible.
Can I interject on that too?
No. Yes.
if she was in a bad mood, or she was in an emotional state, as a person who has been there before, it will happen easier. If she was like even the least little bit emotional that day, like, you know, one of the kids made her mad, or somebody pissed her off, or she was sad for some reason, it's easier.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said in the beginning. If you're already an emotionally volatile person, you know, generally, then you will be more easily affected.
That's me.
But that's not necessarily the only reason why it happens. You don't have to be emotionally volatile.
I mean, the shadow person could have been like a residual shadow person. Is that possible? Is that a thing?
It depends on your abilities. It depends.
And he was just walking down the street and she just happened to be standing there.
Yep, I think it depends. I think the range of psychic ability is very, very immense when it comes to whether it was energy just lingering around there and looping through, or something with a consciousness there. It's all very gray, all very vast.
Aaron asked, anyone else ever injured by a shadow person?
Not me. Fortunately, not me.
And Valerie just jumped on.
I see Becky Compton on YouTube.
Yeah, she said she couldn't get on Facebook. Misty Connor is on.
A lot of people are coming on tonight. Maybe I should just talk about shadow people all the time. That's maybe next time I'll talk about demons. That'll bring them all. Has anybody commented about whether this little girl and she said she described a blue dress? Baby blue?
She wanted.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, a baby blue dress, longer blonde hair, no bangs, thinning hair.
Okay. No one's contacted you yet. Is that right?
I don't. Somebody in YouTube trying to figure out if that's who it was.
On Facebook, I got this, Missy. Liz Noble Coy says, one night I went to bed and noticed three undefined shadows moving through. It was my mind playing tricks. About 2 weeks later, I saw the same shadows in my brother's ICU room. My husband saw the same shadows in my brother's room the next night. We also saw a white mist in the room both nights. So she's seen some crazy stuff. Interesting. By undefined, I'm curious about what exactly that means. You know, you can't tell if it's male or female, or if you can't tell if it has a humanoid figure. Kind of help me understand what you mean by undefined. I'm just curious by what you mean. Ben says no injuries. It's like I was christened fire, but apparently that's not a bad thing if you don't burn. Tempered. You were tempered. Jen says yes, demons. You want me to talk about the demons? I've mentioned them before on the show. We'll stick with the shadow people. We'll be taking a break here shortly. I do not want to lose this crowd, so we'll take a short break. We'll do maybe like 5 minutes, enough to take some drags off some cigarettes if that's what you need. Get something to drink real quick. Uh-oh. Missy, did you freeze?
I did, I think.
Uh-oh. You did.
Shh.
Your internet's not working very good. Oh, you're back.
Okay.
You've been a little laggy. Not too bad, but a little bit. So, before the break, does anybody else have any other questions about shadow people? If you guys want to hear about the capturing of these, it's like a shadow mist down at my father-in-law's, my wife's dad's. We all live on the same property. It's like a 63-acre farm, and he sees things in his hallway in his bedroom all the time. And a lot of what he says he sees is both a black apparition, a shadowy apparition, and a white misty apparition, both types, going from left to right, right to left, crossing from his bedroom into his guest bedroom. Sometimes they have no heads. Sometimes they're just half the body. And one of the many times I investigated down there, I set up an infrared camera there and I'm trying to record it. And sure enough, right when he said it would happen, I captured it. And it is very strange. It looks like it moves faster than what something would naturally move. Like a vroom, vroom. And it's got this weird unearthly movement to it. And it's like gas or a mist. It's not even like a person. And it would come out of the wall and swoop and fly into the door frame, pop in, pop out real quick. It was very strange. What was Liz was she replying back on what I had asked? I'm not seeing it. No humanoid shape. Okay. That's what I was kind of wondering. Shadow people from corner of the eye from time to time. Yep, that is definitely a thing. Whether it be paranormal or not, it's definitely a thing. A lot of people report seeing these things stalk and lurk them from a young age. Sometimes it persists throughout their life. Sometimes it comes and goes. Sometimes it was only when they were young. And I find that interesting. I definitely would want to know if they were familiar to the person or they were just attracted to that person and had an interest in that person, or if it was just where they were at, where they were living. All those questions I would ask and I wonder about. So I guess right now would be a good time to take a break. We're going to talk for another hour. We're going to try to, at least. So if you are still interested in talk about shadow people, I'll definitely go into my experiences with shadow people and I don't know. I think I'll be able. During the break, I'll try to dig up that footage. It's very old on my YouTube channel. I'll try to dig that up for you. But in the meantime, don't go anywhere. Don't change that dial, as they say. Get up, get stretched, go get a drink, go to the bathroom if you have to. We will be right back in 5 or 6 minutes. Please do not go anywhere. And if you want to, you can check out some of these ads and promos. Be right back. Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
See you. What the fuck was that?
Lost your audio from your lavalier. Did the power go off?
Well, I felt like I got pinched, but it wasn't like a
Did the display turn off?
This just died.
You gotta be kidding me.
It just died.
Okay, that's brand new lithium-ion batteries. We'll keep rolling. Dude, there's...
Yeah, but at least that one's definitely documented it. That's still rolling, that camera.
Oh, yeah, this is rolling too.
Yeah, these just freaking died.
Let me double check.
I held it in, the light came on to the title screen. And...
Dude, I'm starting to feel really, like, weird sensations touching me, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I felt like something Yeah.
Like just,
Dead as a doornail.
and those are brand new.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
Hi, I'm Eric McGill.
And I'm David Woolever.
And we are paranormal investigators welcoming you to join us as we put new theories to the test and attempt to explain strange phenomena. We invite you on a journey that will give you a glimpse into our haunted minds.
And we're back, and my camera's froze, so give me just 1 minute and I will fix that. Activate. Okay. We are back, and thanks for not tuning out. Thanks for not leaving. And if you're just chimed in, welcome. We are back for another hour of my Paranormal Soapbox. We have Jessica and Melissa here monitoring the chat on YouTube and Facebook. We are talking about shadow figures, shadow people, shadow apparitions, black and white. So if you would like to share anything, any experiences you have, if you have any questions, that's what we're here to do. In the beginning, I kind of talked about some of my ideas involving shadow people, you know, what they could be, why they appear shadow-like, where they could be from. But at the end of the day, no one really knows. They only have their belief. They have their inner truths about what they are, what they can be. And I know that some people can be haunted by these things and feel like that they don't have anybody to reach out to or have nobody to help them. So if that's the case, you can definitely reach out to us. If you don't have anybody else to reach out to, I can help you any way I can. If it's something that requires more than a minute or two, you may have to wait until after the show to get a hold of us. You can definitely message the Justin Brown Paranormal Research page. You can email at us at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. I know Jessica Bias has a psychic medium page, Jessica Bias Psychic Medium on Facebook that you can message. You can message her personally if you're friends with her on Facebook. And you can contact us on our website at interfacedeath.net. All those things are in the description, I hope. So, go ahead.
I have Sheila Wiley. She said, I'm new to this. It's really cool. Thanks for hosting this.
You are welcome, Sheila. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to follow the page, to like it, to do those things that will notify you when we do these things more often. Thanks for joining us. I did see, I think was it Eddie? Yeah.
Eddie had a question and Valerie has a comment. Okay. Eddie's question is, I've seen a black mist try to manifest into a full-bodied apparition at a location last month. I cannot get this location out of my thoughts. Have you ever had an experience of this type? I constantly dream about this place now, sort of like it's trying to draw me back.
Not like that. I've had places that I've been drawn to, but after I've been to them, my kind of fascination is appeased at that point. I haven't been really obsessed with the place where I want to keep revisiting it and keep revisiting it. I try to not get attached to entities and locations that way. But a lot of times I end up going back to them because of the availability of them. And sometimes I get access to very prominent, very haunted locations for free. Okay. And I take advantage of that. So, can you disclose what location you're talking about? Maybe I can give you more feedback on that.
If you don't want to say it there, you can message one of us.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Valerie said, I have had a few weird experiences with shadow entities. My question is, do you believe there are different types of shadow entities? From my experience, I do think so.
Yes, there's no reason to believe that there's just one type of shadow entity. I would think it would be foolish to assume that. I agree. I see some stuff on YouTube if you want to visit, Jess, or do you want me to get it?
If you can, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think it was Kasha. Let me see if I can. Nasaba. Sorry. So has Justin posted to YouTube any of the videos, photos of the shadow people he caught in his father's bedroom? Uh-oh, my camera froze again. Let me fix that. That's going to be... I don't know why that's happening. Fix that for you guys. Hopefully that isn't a persistent issue. Let me close Skype to make sure that's not what the problem is. Go ahead.
Eddie said House of Wells.
Ah.
Now you know what he's talking about.
Yeah. That location has left very lasting impressions on people that I know. And one of them that's publicly open to talking about it is Daryl Marston on Ghost Hunters. And you need to be very careful about that location. There has been energies invited in that location, whether Eric Freeman is open or admitting to that or not, that can be bad. And there could be some very angry entities there that aren't happy for whatever reason. When he described his things, it said that how did it affect him again? I forget.
He cannot get the location out of his thoughts.
Okay.
And he has constant dreams about it.
Okay. I would definitely get cleansed immediately.
Yeah. Clay Borman just jumped on. Are you?
What's up, Clay, buddy? Haven't spoken to you in a long, long time. It's very, very nice to see you on here. Clay Borman is definitely one of our very top supporters. Has been supporting us for a very long time. And please extend your thanks to Clay. If it wasn't for people like him, you wouldn't be seeing content from us as much and as frequently as you do. So I hope Clay's doing well. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Mothman says, the way I see it, there are types of spirits. Perhaps there is meaning in the way they present themselves in color, shape, etc. Dark figures, often negative, threatening, pale, often sad mourning.
Or there they are. Okay. The boxes were gone.
Yeah, my encoders say it's being overloaded for some reason, so we're going to see some technical difficulties.
Scotty says stop stealing your neighbor's Wi-Fi.
my neighbor's Wi-Fi can't run this.
It's his sister-in-law anyway. She doesn't care. Valerie said most of my experiences with shadow entities are on native land, the res. Those are the ones that freak me out the most.
Yeah, I can imagine why it would freak you out.
Sheila said, we live in a very old farmhouse. And when my nurse pulled up, she said she saw an old woman standing in the side yard looking at the house. That was very creepy because we actually see a woman in the house all the time.
Yeah, I can see why that'd be creepy. Yeah, experiencing paranormal phenomena, the most unsettling thing to most people, including myself, is seeing something like that. And the only thing that prepares you or weathers you or tempers you to it is seeing it a lot and being okay with it and having it not affect you in ways that your fear will allow it to affect you psychologically. So if you're seeing things a lot, but it's not hurting you or disturbing you emotionally or psychologically or hurting you physically, then you can grow accustomed to it. But if you don't, it's perfectly understandable to be afraid of such things because that's just human nature. But we want to come to a point where when we help people to try to empower them to help themselves, to protect themselves, and to diminish the fear they may have of things that are not there to hurt them, but are just freaking them out because they don't know what it is and they don't know what their intentions are. And, they're floating around invisible and crap while they sleep and can do anything to them. I mean, that's why people are afraid of it.
Genevieve said, I had a bad poltergeist as a teenager. I often wonder about that, even a really cold spot in the room that was vicious. And then she said, I challenged it in the mirror. Stupid kid at the time. My eye parted, divided in two. Afterwards, the white of my eye was full of blood for 2 weeks.
What? It's straight out of a horror movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Sheila said she owned the house. The old lady owned the house before she did.
Saba, I'm going to try to bring up the YouTube video. Hopefully I don't. I mean, I got to bring up another tab, so I'm going to be taxing my computer even more doing it. So if something happens, it's your fault. Just joking. Let's see. The best of death. This is an old video. Very, very old. To there. Suck. It didn't pop up. It's showing me found it. All right. Keep on reading if you have anything. I will see the shadow. Oh, well, I'm ready to show the shadow. Let me set this up. Okay. If you have any questions or anything to share, we'll hold us off. There's at least one person that's wanting to see this, and I'll set this up. One of the times we're investigating, he's telling us what he's seeing. So, like I said before, we set up just an average grade CCTV camera on a tripod down a hallway, and there's two things that we saw. We saw shadow apparition mist-like things, and then we seen this blinky, pulsing little pinpoint like orb. And I know I trash orbs all the time, but this one was interesting to me because it shot straight out of a room and hovered for a few seconds and pulsated and shot right back where it came. So dust doesn't do that. So we'll take a look at this and we'll see what you guys think. Let's see if I can get rid of the overlays here real quick, and we'll load this up and see what's going on. Now, you're going to see it right in here, so pay attention right in here. Some of it's really fast, some of it's really easy to be seen here. Let me go back to our beginning. Okay, we'll start it from here. Pay close attention. Okay, there was one right around in here. There it goes again. Again. See it again. There. Down in here. Right there. It just swoops in there. And then I'm narrating this part that you're not hearing, so just wait for just a moment and we'll take another look at another entity. We were actually getting EVPs and communication this time. That's why you're seeing subtitles there. This video is very old, so the quality is not very good. So it looks like we need to go to here. Okay, this is the orb that's shot out. You're looking right here. I replayed a few times. There it is, and then it goes back. That's very strange. It's right in here. It comes out this doorway. See it one more. No, right there. That's very strange. You also see something like right in here too. Right after it goes in. There, and it flies back, and then you see something a little bit there, but I don't know if that could have been dust. And there was a few more shadow apparitions, I think, that I show. I'm not sure. Yeah. Look here. See it a few more times. Same area. Right there. It's very fast. Right there. It's like, what is that? There's nothing in front of my infrared illuminators at all doing that. And I have yet to understand what that is doing that. So there you have it. If you want the link to the URL for this video, please do not judge me, because there are some things in the video that are dust orbs. Like I said, this was in 2014, early on. And I have debunked a lot of the things, but some of the things in the video I have not found explanations for. So, there you go. I hope you're happy. All right. Or do we need to catch up on the chat?
Sheila said, I actually take comfort in her being here. Her name was Daphne Carr, and I call to her by name. I think that the home and her protects me.
That's nice.
Genevieve said, I never had any eye problems, so yeah, it was intense.
Okay.
Sheila said, Heather, I love that she's here. I really, really think that she's protecting me.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that if an entity's not there to harm them or do nefarious things, that they're protecting them. And if that's true, that's really cool. And I think that's kind of profound. I do believe that there's things out there that are there to protect you. I have not found any evidence or anything to suggest that there isn't. And I have not been doing it long, but I have been doing a lot of my own intuitive-based energy work, just with some group members and my family. And when I do it, sometimes I see beings come to them. Sometimes they're angels. And I don't know if that's what protects them, or I don't know if that's what comes in and does something while I'm doing that. But they're different, so I'm assuming that it could have something to do with them.
Okay, I have a comment on RU and a question on Justin Brown. The comment on RU is, I've never seen one, but one was caught on camera beside me last month. I didn't feel it or see it, but it was an outdoor remote location and it was very small, but not like a child. I thought it was so neat.
Cool. Yeah, if you want to send that over to me to have me take a look, I would like to take a look.
And then the question is, Aaron asked, ever capture environmental EMF, temperature, etc., data that you could correlate to the sighting of a shadow person, either on camera or in person?
No, I have not personally. I have tried, but I have not. Good question. It's definitely, something that a lot of paranormal investigators try to do. And the reason that they try to do it is they're trying to collect data to see whether they can predict or identify certain environmental factors that are anomalous that correlates with certain types of manifestations or phenomena. Can be either observed, captured, or, experienced. Justin, there is a lot of debate recently regarding the validity of spirit boxes. Is that why you don't use them, or an app like Echovox? I did do a soapbox recently on the spirit box, and if you did not watch that, I would urge you to. I'm really elaborate and clear and blunt about it. There's too much room when you're sweeping through RF and getting all the radio station. There's too much room for false positive and pareidolia. And I want to stray away from the subjective approach to ITC. I want to be able to objectify and validate what is anomalous instead of just believing what is anomalous. Okay, so the spirit box, there's too much going on with that for me to be objective about what is there coming through it. And that is what the problems most people have with them.
Sheila said, I became unable to walk about 10 years ago, and that's when I became very, very attached to the house and the spirit here. And that's when I did some investigation on the property.
I bet you spent a lot more time than you normally did in the house, and maybe that's what changed. Is that true? Eddie says, thank you. I've already cleansed and I'm trying to stay well grounded. I've listened to a few podcasts where people say the place can try to mess you up for a period of time. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, man, I was up there helping someone film. I spent 2 days there filming. But there was definitely times where I did not feel comfortable in the place and the energy there did not feel welcoming. But it was like a kaleidoscope of different types of energies. It was pretty gnarly. So hopefully, you don't have to go back there, but if morbid curiosity gets the better of you, I'm not going to judge.
I remember when Josh was going up there with you, and I wasn't in tune with my ability. I didn't like it. Like, I didn't know anything about the place or anything, but he just told me the name and like the feeling that I got from it. I didn't like it. So really, I don't have no desire of going myself. Just let me know.
We've messed around with the idea of going there and doing an investigation, and it's just, there's a point where you want to understand those type of things, but at what cost? And you just have to decide whether it's worth doing it or not. And
see, and I don't have an issue like looking at a place and be like, nope, that's too much for me.
When the owner says the house tried to kill him, you have to take a step back and listen to that. Now, he'll tell you that he doesn't believe in ghosts, but he will take you on a tour where he talks about how he feels them, has seen them, and that the house itself tried to kill him. So he is very conflicted. He's very skeptical, right? He doesn't want to be someone who appears to be, oh, I'm gullible, I believe in ghosts type thing. But he's very, honest about what he believes that he experienced and what happened. He has a peculiar relationship with the place, a love-hate relationship that he conveyed during the interview I had with him. So, yeah, it's weird. Oh, we got Amber Wellman chiming in. We got a black mass on the thermal at Hinsdale and try to reenact it to see if it was the clouds, weather, etc. Interesting. Have you seen Chris Holton, who only uses a digital recorder for evidence? Is that a valid technique to use? Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you just need to keep it simple, and that's a good way to do it. I definitely agree with that. That's definitely fine by me. Uh-oh. You guys are breaking up on Skype. I am not hearing you guys on Skype at all. Uh-oh. They're lagging hardcore. Hopefully they come back, guys. We'll see if they come back. You may have to give it a minute. We are stress testing my internet. Maybe I should message the people in my house telling them to stop using the internet. Should we try that? Can you turn off your Wi-Fi ? See if that helps. Yeah, we're definitely lagging on Skype hardcore, and we'll see if they come back. See if they come back. The OBS is not stressing out my CPU, but I think I'm just getting a lag spike on my network. Let's see. Take a look at what my is dealing with. Details, performance. Oh, my CPU is under a huge load. Turn that tab off. Let's see here. Dealing with. Turn off this chat app. Okay, CPU's looking a little bit better. Ethernet. Yeah, they are lagging out hardcore, aren't they? Yikes. Boy, yeah, I'm maxing out my CPU. Look at that. They're lagged out so hard. Did I get messaged by somebody? They lost your audio. My computer is lagging. Being overloaded. Yeah, let's see here. We'll end Skype. See if we can get this back on track. It's an i7, Scotty. It's a Gen 7, I believe. It's a 6700 series. I definitely could use an upgrade, but I'm not streaming at a particularly high bit rate. So we turned off Skype. I can definitely turn off that. See if we can get this under control. Jen says she hears me just fine. Yeah, I turned off Skype, so let me see if I can disconnect their NDI sources here real quick. So here and here. I'll try to hide that. They're playing statues at the moment. Yeah, my CPU is definitely taking a load here. If you guys want to look at what I'm dealing with here, it's pretty hardcore. My CPU is definitely. I'm still getting their audio. It's still lagging through OBS. It's hardcore right now. But look at my CPU. It's getting crushed. My CPU usage is saying 14.2% on OBS, but on my system, it looks like it's wanting to back down a little bit here. Then it jumps right back up. Okay, well, we tried 2 hours. I'm still hearing them. I completely shut off Skype, but I'm still hearing them. So, let me message them, tell them to drop out of the call. Tell the girls to drop out of the call. Let's see if we can get this show back on track. Sorry, guys. It's definitely hard to run all this for a long period of time and not expect some technical glitches here and there. I know when I get past an hour, I definitely see problems pop up. So I heard them drop out of the call. Hey, Jason, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. I was overloading OBS. We're going to try to get the girl... Uh-oh. Hello? What's weird is I'm still hearing Skype, but I closed Skype. You can hear me. Okay, stay put. Message Missy and tell her to join the call again. And we'll see if we can get this show back on track. Everybody's kind of hanging out right now. I had to close a bunch of stuff and everything because my CPU was having a heart attack. So we will get here. Let's see if we got.
There she is.
Okay, we'll bring back in these video feeds and see if they'll act properly. See, we'll turn Missy back on. So far, your video feeds are small.
Do you want me to get out and come back in?
No. We're going to see if this is going to be salvageable or not. I definitely have your NDI sources, but the bandwidth is struggling just a little bit because the NDI sources, what they'll do is, Missy, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what I'm experiencing now is your screens aren't the right size. And that tells me that, see, your screen just got a little bit bigger. So we're just going to keep them like that because I have them already set. When the network gets all the data moving through the pipes a little bit better, that's when it'll come back.
Genevieve said Mini Missy.
Mini Missy. Yep, she's small.
When is the investigation at the Archive of the Afterlife? I don't want to butcher her name.
That is going to be a problem. I've run into a lot of problems on that film because of the technical issues we had during it. I hope to get it out as soon as possible. Please be patient with that. And I appreciate your patience waiting for that. But hopefully we get that out soon, like this month soon. But it's not going to be like a full, awesome feature that you see us normally do because something there didn't want us there doing things. And it shut down our equipment. It drained all of our batteries to our audio equipment. It gave audio wireless mics fits. It was bad. It was a hot mess. If it was convenient, we would have went back and reshot everything and got everything we needed, but we just couldn't do that. So it ended up being a problem. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do it, and it's going to take me a while. Missy says, the less you see of me, the better.
Missy.
I wish Missy and Derek would plug their computer straight into their internet instead of using the Wi-Fi wireless signal, because that would definitely help.
Well, you talk to him.
Hey, you got hands. You can do it too. Plug shit in. Get a cable. So
I'm gonna plug my fist into your nose if you don't stop it.
Boom.
all right, then don't. Just remain small then. You're slowly coming back into regular size. Jessica, it looks good. You are still kind of small. So what are we missing out on the chat here?
I've always been kind of small.
I know this. So what are we missing out here? What's going on in the chat? Are they kind of like, hey, we're still with you, but your show's starting to croak, or what's going on?
No, they're talking about me.
Yep, Jason said it. Wi-Fi not good for video streaming. There. You read Jason Bland's, read it to yourself out loud. Very
Read
slowly.
Valerie's.
What's Valerie said? I don't see hers.
Boom.
Boom. Scotty did ask, Scotty, I'm sorry. Something about what is our, well, it was something like, I just put myself in a spot. Okay, Justin, how much does a location generally cost you to investigate overnight?
It generally costs between $500 to $1,000, depending on the location. $1,000 being on the expensive end and $500 being on the average end. It can cost less than that, but generally it's $500 to $1,000 for a night. So it's very expensive. That's why we beg for money. That's why we beg. But if you're just chiming in, we had a little bit of a technical issue. We're trying to get things back to speed. We're talking about shadow people, at least we're trying to. We're listening to people's experiences with shadow people and other types of apparitions. We're trying to air out ideas about what they could be, their intentions, where they're from, what they are. I believe, as we're kind of getting towards the end of the show, I believe that they're not just one thing. They can be anything from our relatives to our pets to things that are just curious to things that are attracted by us or the location that we're in. It could be things that are not so nice. It could be things that are very not nice. It could be things that we do not understand and cannot begin to know their intentions. So there is a wide range of possibility there. And to be sure about what they are, everybody has their own personal beliefs about what these things are. Sometimes I'm just going to go ahead and make Missy bigger and see if she will pop in the place later, because it's driving me crazy here. But it's also nice to have people that have abilities to confirm or validate what you believe that they are. I know someone from Hillsborough, my hometown, just recently contacted me and asked me, hey, are psychics real or mediums real? Because they want to contact somebody that they have lost. And, I said, well, the ones on TV, probably not. The ones that are charging, definitely, I would not advise them to go to people that charge. But the people who follow me and are friends with me who do charge, no offense to that. Because I believe that if you choose to do readings for people, I don't necessarily believe it's wrong if you ask for compensation. But some people that charge and do certain things, I have issues with. But we'll leave it as that. What did Mothman have to say there?
So, Justin, what do you think about shadow figure bedrooms visitation crossing over into an alien abduction territory, like shadowy alien figures looming over your bed?
Yeah, that's fucking terrifying, man.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I knew it.
I think it could be it could be what's happening. I know we had Jason Bland on the show. I know he talks about his not so nice shadow. Jason, were you the guy that told me that you see a fucking severed head? I know that was you. It was you. That's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. But what?
He commented.
Yeah, I saw it. And but yeah, going back to the alien angle, yeah, I mean, if they're interdimensional and they're higher dimensional and entering our lower dimensional plane, they could be seen as a shadow figure. And we kind of went in that in the beginning. If you're looking at a higher dimensional being, a cross section of it in our plane could appear to be shadowy because light does not affect it in the same physical way in our realm. So you're seeing almost like a dimensional hole there of where they're at. It's like an anomaly. And that's where things are paranormal. But hopefully somebody gets to the bottom of it and figures it out. Jason says, shadow person I experienced was a parasitic entity that fed on my fear and anxiety. Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah, he saw a green floating head. Yep. Not forgetting that.
What does it mean when you see colons around people? I don't understand.
Colons around people?
Colors.
Colors.
Is that what it says?
Aura.
Yeah, there you go.
When you see auras around people, you're looking at their life force energy. A lot of people believe when you see auras, that's their life force energy. A lot of metaphysicists believe that we're all made of either chi, prana, mana, whatever you want to call it, ki if you're Japanese, life force energy if you're from the West. That's the universal component from which all physical matter and non-physical phenomena and substances, whatever you want to call them, it's the stuff of everything. So a lot of people can see auras that have the ability to, or if the conditions are right.
The Haunted Side just joined us on YouTube.
What's up, The Haunted Side? Thanks for joining us. We are talking about shadow people and the high strangeness and weirdness of what people experience. We're definitely sharing a lot of things right now. Yeah, Jason says they are... I'm sorry, what did Jason say? It left my screen.
Jason Bland. They are just outside our normal perception of reality.
Yeah. Our normal perception isn't so black and white and cut and dry, though. I think that there are many different states, and some people have higher states of perception than others. What you may see as a shadow person may appear as something different to someone else, and that also interests me. Me and Missy and Jess, when we investigate, sometimes we are aware of the same things, but they come across differently. And I'm always curious and interested in why they do that. And it has, and hypothesize that it's due to our senses and how we perceive paranormal things. Yeah, a lot of things feed off fear and anxiety. Etheric energy field. Yes. I talk about that a lot. And when you're dealing with the etheric energy field, is he talking about that in correspondence to the aura around people?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, the learn about the ether and the etheric is very interesting. It originates from Greece, but there's things that are synonymous to it in other beliefs. But it's called the calling it ether is from the Greek, and it was long time ago was believed that everything is immersed in an etheric field or the ether, and that's where you see wave-like properties happening, like in the electromagnetic field and other things that vibrate on a frequency, on a resonance. So when we started seeing things quantumly show up in quantum physics and quantum theory, a lot of that idea about the ether was still trying to be implemented, but we couldn't detect an ether. But then quantum field theory came along, which was kind of confusing because it kind of sounds like the same thing, but different. Mothman says it's like a spectrum of them coming into existence, weird feeling environments, sound making, item moving, poltergeist, orbs / mist, shadowy figures / spirits, full bodies, beings. Was he referring to something else, or?
I'm not sure.
With the delay, live stream's kind of hard.
But then you were talking about auras, then you were talking about severed heads, and then,
Yep.
Jason Bullion said I was physically attacked and levitated off of my bed and thrown down 3 times by the shadow person who attacked me for 5 months.
That's horrifying. That's what's crazy. A lot of people will never experience that, and that's why they kind of laugh at people like us. People who have experienced things that are just so profound, so crazy to imagine it possibly happening, that they can't believe it, and we can't blame them. But it kind of, places a wedge there. We can't connect with people without those experiences. That's why, the paranormal community tries to, stick with each other, because they have experienced similar things they can't explain, things that sound crazy, weird, fantastical, horrifying, straight out of a horror movie. So I totally relate to feeling weird and feeling alone and feeling like, I really want to get down to the bottom of this. I want to know how to protect myself from these things happening again. I'm interested in knowing, Jason, why do you think that happened at that particular time, and why it hasn't repeated? Why it hasn't occurred more? Do you think it's because of where you were living, your age? Kind of elaborate on that a little bit. I'm curious about that.
I have a fun fact from Scotty Fox. The last color we see before going to blind is green, and that's why many safety signs in Aussie is colored green, like exits, etc.
I feel smarter now. That's kind of cool. That is cool. I didn't know that. Now I do. Oh, there's a lot of stuff coming in here. Go ahead.
Genevieve said, "Don't read me, Jess." Wow, I had something like that. Jason tried to wake me up 3rd time. I kept thinking. I woke up, spun me around by my ankles and into bed, said, "You're going down."
Shit. Shadow person account is in Mike Ricksecker's book, The Encounters of the Paranormal Volume 2. Okay, that's good to know. Boom, 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 boom.
Sheila's story is she had cancer and she died and they brought her back.
Sheila in chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheila Wiley.
Okay. She died while she had cancer, and then they resuscitated her?
Yeah.
So then she started experiencing spiritual phenomena.
She started seeing colors, and yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I have a little bit of feedback on that. When they were doing an experiment on mice, when they would die, they would release DMT from their pineal gland, and maybe when you died, you released DMT from your pineal gland, and maybe you changed some neurological pathways in your brain, and when you came back changed, and your perception changed. That would be my theory about why I perceive those things now.
Valerie said, "You're supposed to be different now. You have been touched by the divine, per se. You now have unlocked some of your abilities to bring healing to others here and to yourself." Which is what you just said.
That is a more spiritual interpretation. Mine was much more hollow.
Well, Valerie is very spiritual.
Whatever makes you, we're here to give things meanings and purpose. I'm not here to say that that's not real, because let's reflect on that. Okay. If you believe something, if you feel something, if you think something, it exists. Whether it exists in here or out there is irrelevant. It exists somewhere. So the very fact that you can think, feel, and believe things, you're bringing them into existence, whether it be external or internal. With that being said, it does not make them not real. So you have to appreciate and respect that. My experience is a long story, but I went to train tracks that had a lot of tragedies, and I challenged it, and then it ended when I think my deceased great-grandfather stopped it the night that the shadow person physically attacked me. I guess we're gonna have to buy Mike's books or go back on one of Jason Bland's shows, because I'm sure he's talked about it times on the show.
Sheila said I had no blood in my body. They put blood in me and I came back. But how do I heal people now?
I would have to know more information. I would have to get in contact with you.
When they drew her blood out, it was clear.
What's clear in your blood? Plasma's not clear.
No.
It's weird. I don't know. Heard of that. I do not know what the hell's going on there. Jason
Jamie
said he's seen words.
I'm sorry. Jamie on YouTube says, thoughts on spirit communication apps on phones. I have a direct contact. Sometimes it's wild.
I personally don't advocate or condone the use of apps for ITC or spirit communication. But with that being said, it does not make it impossible for them to be used. My problem with them is being able to discern whether it's real or legit or not. The human mind and then the way we interpret things are not rock solid, and they are not objective enough. So we don't advocate that.
Sheila said she had no red blood cells at all.
Mm.
Yeah, you're lucky to be here, I would assume. Read up on aura hearing. Different colors of aura can relate to some kind of illness that person may be experiencing connected to that color. I'm still new to this, but I have been reading up on it. Yeah, the different colors, if you kind of buy in or subscribe to chakras, there's certain colors that correspond to the vibratory natures of the vortices in the bodies called chakras. And the lower, the vibration is, you start with the root chakra, and the higher the vibration is, it goes through the rainbow, the visible light spectrum, all up to indigo. And those colors correspond to different physical structures of the body, being the crown of the head, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra. They all correspond to the physiology of the body. And I definitely believe that there's something to that. In another dimension with all my imaginations on it, that would be a scary place. That's called the etheric realm that Jason Blaine was that spoke about. There is a place, and it's called the ethereal realm, where that happens.
Hannah wants to know your what is a psychic healer?
A psychic healer?
Mm-hmm.
A psychic healer can be many things. They can use universal life force energy. They can use other psychic abilities to pinpoint certain illnesses, whether they're physical or metaphysical, to heal them. A Reiki practitioner, a Reiki healer, uses universal life force energy. There's people who use sound to heal people. There's people who are like psychic, and they can tell that there's things wrong with you, and they can tell you how to heal yourself, like herbally or holistically or pharmaceutically. It's pretty. I mean, do you guys have anything else to add to that?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay.
I think you covered it all, pretty much.
Okay. I sometimes I feel like I better bring all my shit to the yard today. I feel like I'm being graded. Being graded by everyone. Jen says, did they tell
Did you read Scotty Fox's comment before that? He said, "Are we talking about Tibetan something? I don't know."
Tibetan what?
Scotty Fox.
It was before the comment that you just read. I think it was Scotty.
Yeah, are we talking about Tibetan Talupa? As psychic manifestations.
Tulpa.
That word.
Yeah, it's where you bring an entity, an intelligent entity in existence through your imagination or power of the mind. That's a thing. I don't know how what he was connecting it to an earlier thing. Yeah, Edgar Casey, he was one of those guys who could find out what was wrong with you using psychic abilities. That's kind of like what I was talking about. He would say, he would use his psychic ability to find out what's wrong with you, and you would go to the doctor, get help. That's definitely falls in under the definition, Jason. I agree. I'll go ahead and read this. Mothman Historian says, I think sleep paralysis plays a role in a lot of shadow figure encounters because they are often bedroom visitations or in dreams, also in walking light through. Yes, there is a very huge belief in that. I do understand that a lot of people have those same experiences that can't be discounted easily. Jamie says, I've asked names and get direct answers, and then I've asked why they haven't gone to the light, said purgatory. Interesting. Valerie's laughing at me. We were talking about shadow people, but you know how it goes. We're 2 hours in, and we can go off on a tangent. Yep, Tulpa is a Tibetan thought form. Exactly.
Lawrence Gray from Point Pleasant had a bedroom visitation in fall of 1966, Mothman Wave, where he saw Mothman at a shadowy figure from his bedside. Another connection for you.
Had a bedroom visitation in fall 66. Saw Mothman as a shadowy figure at his bedside. Very interesting.
Jason said he would actually come up with a cure.
Edgar Casey, yeah. I'm not an expert on his exact practice, but I definitely know the bullet points. Most of them. Yeah, Tulpas, Scotty. Very interesting. That should definitely be a topic. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been a topic on this show, but it definitely should be. How do I get in touch with you? Me personally? Sheila, are you on the Justin Brown Paranormal Research page, or are you media? Can you tell?
She's on the Justin Brown page.
You can message this page. You can email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. Get a hold of me that way.
His phone number is, I'm just joking.
My phone number is on the page.
Jason said, well, if you believe in purgatory, then when you die, you might end up in a self-made purgatory.
Purgatory can be a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a certain thing. I mean, theologically speaking, the Bible has descriptors, but it's easy to go outside those descriptors and come up with your own purgatory. Read Edgar Casey, The Sleeping Prophet. If I had time to read, I would.
I've had a lot of sleep paralysis, but never noticed anything.
That's got to be a really sucky disorder. I know that. I've heard a lot of people that go through that, and it just sucks. A servitor? I'm not sure what a servitor is. I have not heard of a servitor, so I could not answer that.
Is a tulpa the same thing as a... Yeah. Whatever you just said.
I can try Googling servitor. Is Sandy Griffin still on?
I think so.
I was wondering if she was able to use the PayPal link I gave her, if it worked for her.
I don't know.
Okay, servitor, archaic definition is a person who serves or attends on a social superior. Historical, Oxford University undergraduate performing menial duties in exchange for assistance for college funds. I don't know what the metaphysical term is, how it's defined. Okay, within chaos magic, a servitor is a psychological complex deliberately created by the magician for a specific purpose that appears to operate autonomously from the magician's consciousness. It's similar, but tulpas can be created unintentionally through a lot of parapsychological definitions of poltergeists and other phenomena through psychokinetics. So a servitor seems very deliberate, and it's almost like a tulpamancy. It's a magical practice. So it's very, very similar, but doesn't necessarily mean it's the exact thing as a tulpa, because in the Tibetan version, it may be there may be some definitions in the Tibet. I'll have to get back to you on that. Maybe when I do a show on tulpas, I will do a lot more research and be a lot more prepared to answer that. But thanks for bringing that up. I didn't know a servitor was a thing. That's definitely interesting. Yes, I learned something today. Well, I learned a few things, actually.
2 things. Green.
Green, that's the last thing. That's the last color you see in servitors. Sounds terrifying.
And Bill said your phone number is 867-5309.
You're so lame, bro. Got better material than that, right? All right, we're past the 2-hour mark. I love you guys. You know that. You guys sticking around for 2 hours and listen to me talking to this microphone. I mean, I love you for it. I appreciate you. We're going to wrap this up. Girls, thanks for hanging out with me and enduring all this. It is not going unnoticed. And I love you guys. Like I said, you guys are my family. You are my therapy. You are my antidote to the everyday grind that I must endure. And without you guys, I don't know what would happen. It would suck. It would suck. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We're going to throw up some links like we always do. There they are. Interfacedeath.net is our website. It's in the video description. Sometimes Restream will not let me put all the links I want into the video descriptions from Restream. So here they all are. If you're watching on YouTube, we're also broadcasting on Facebook from Justin Brown Paranormal Research and RU Media Network. Twitter, we're on Instagram. We have Patreon at patreon.com/supportinterfacedeath. If you're watching on Facebook, please turn on your YouTube app and subscribe to Interface Death. It's free. It don't cost you anything. We do have the PayPal link there. If you want to make a one-time small donation to help keep this content here to stay, help make it better, help give back, there it is. We also have a Discord server for you to join if you want to. We have a paranormal group on Facebook called UPS. We talk about everything paranormal. Anything that you want to share is open on there. Just send a join request and I'll accept you. You can share your paranormal work, your experiences, everything. It's there for everybody. I would like to see everybody there. Let's extend our thanks to our Patreon supporters and everybody who has donated through PayPal. People like Clay Borman, Katie Turner, RJ Murphy, Scotty Fox, Casey Schreiner, Jessica Bias, Paranormal Reporter, Anthony Crothis, Heather Elliott, Joe Vitale, The Ghost Guild, Kelly McConkey, Tony Felosi, Betty Kegley, Cherry Capital Shadow Seekers, and Deadlight LLC help make this happen. They get rewarded for doing these things. They get access to a lot of things that others do not. If you're interested in helping support us, this is the best way to do it. But if you just want to make like a small time donation, PayPal is the best way to do it. And I definitely will put everything that I get back from you guys right back into these shows and the research that we do. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do believe that I'm going to be on hiatus for Necromancer, the shows on Wednesdays that we do. I am recording for a podcast tomorrow. Hopefully that'll be up next week sometime, so I'll share that out. We're going to be doing this show. It's never going anywhere. It's never stopping. I do want to do something on the Interface Death Facebook page. I am got something in the works, so I will be releasing information on what that is in the very near future. You guys, hopefully you had a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys were safe. I was sick. It kind of sucked, but here I am back healthy again to share the paranormal with you guys. We'll be back again Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll do 1 hour next week. We'll let the Patreons vote for the next topic. I'll throw Tulpas up there and see if that wins. But you also get to vote if you're a Patreon supporter on the topics of these shows. We're going to throw up some paranormal promos, some videos, some advertisements. If you want to have your advertisement aired on the show, get with me. We'll talk. I love you guys. We'll see you next time. Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
Dead light. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks in the night.
I'd like to see you. What the fuck was that?
your audio from your lavalier. Did the power go off?
Well, I felt like I got pinched. But it wasn't like a
Did the
pinch.
display turn off?
This just died.
You gotta be kidding me.
It just died.
Okay, that's brand new lithium-ion batteries. We'll keep rolling. Dude, there's...
Yeah, but at least that one's definitely documented it. That's still rolling, that camera.
Oh, yeah, this is rolling too.
Yeah, these just freaking died.
Let me double check.
I held it in, the light came on to the title screen. And
Dude, I'm starting to feel really, like, weird sensations touching me, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it felt like something.
Yeah,
like just
dead as a doornail.
And those are brand new.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
Hi, I'm Eric McGill.
And I'm David Woolever.
And we are paranormal investigators welcoming you to join us as we put new theories to the test and attempt to explain strange phenomena. We invite you on a journey that will give you a glimpse into our haunted minds. Hi guys, Eric McGill here, RU Media Network and Our Haunted Minds. I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the awesome stuff going on behind the scenes. The Our Haunted Minds video is coming along swimmingly, and it's really going to be awesome. As you guys know, Adam Kimmel is joining us for the first investigation with Dave and I. And then after that, we may have Chris, or we may have Becca, or we may have Ashley. But it's really exciting, and you guys are not going to want to miss this first one. A lot of awesome stuff happened.
Hello everyone, I'm the Goose.
And I'm Michael Bradley.
Is that what you're calling yourself tonight?
Heisenberg.
Not the Angry Kitty.
Max Braggins.
Anywho, we're the hosts of the Cryptic Paranormal Show.
On our show, we'll talk about all things paranormal except Bigfoot. He freaks me out.
Really, dude?
You know that, but I mean, I guess we could talk about him as long as I don't have to see him.
We will talk. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about all fields in the paranormal realm.
And every week we will interview new guests, celebrities, and researchers in the field, and all our comrades in the paranormal underground.
And we aren't afraid to ask the hard questions no one else will. Our conversations are rooted in our own experiences as paranormal investigators.
So be prepared to have your minds, your opinions, and your beliefs challenged.
And let's not forget to warn them about all the tomfoolery and shenanigans. Let's just say, you might want to put the kiddos to bed before tuning in. They don't call us the paranormal shock jocks for nothing.
They call us that?
If they don't, they will.
So be sure to tune into the Cryptic Paranormal Show every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on RU Media Network.
Spook you later, crypto heads.
Bye.
Shut up.
Welcome into the Abyss with your host, Sean Gilmore. Open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes to discuss all things supernatural with weekly special guests. We believe that we all learn from each other and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here is your host, Sean Gilmore.